In today's video, I'm going to talk about restricting and re-allowing a user's access to a quiz. When I talk about this topic, I try to make the distinction early on that there are two broad categories of how to lock users out of a quiz. We can lock them out at a course level using page and section rules, and we can lock them out at the quiz level using graded quiz settings. Depending on your setup, you may find it preferable to use one way over the other. But I usually suggest that if a quiz is in just one course, you're better off using settings at the graded quiz level, not the course level. So today I'm going to go over some of the graded quiz settings and how to re-allow quiz access if a user does get locked out of a quiz. From the graded quiz dashboard, there are two areas of settings to be aware of. There's the general settings area and the graded quiz settings area. General settings can be found across most kinds of learning items, whereas graded quiz settings are exclusive to graded quizzes. When we go to the general settings, what we're concerned about here is allowing retakes. There are two options here. Do we want to allow retakes when a user passes this quiz, and do we want to allow a retake when they fail? I'm sure you can imagine some areas where each would be applicable, but as an example, we may decide that users are allowed to retake this quiz as often as they like after they pass it. But if they fail, we're going to lock them out permanently. The graded quiz settings area has two different settings which can lock users out: max completions and high stakes mode. Max completions is exactly what it sounds like. A user will be restricted in the number of times this quiz can be completed and submitted. For example, when I set this to 3, the user can start and resume this as much as they'd like. But once they've completed it 3 times, they'll be locked out and unable to open it again. High stakes mode is an extremely strict mode for a quiz. How it operates is this. Once a user opens the quiz, the user must submit it. Closing or exiting the quiz in any other way means the user will be locked out. Things like a power outage, internet service outage, or a computer crash all fall under this umbrella. Now, before we get to re-allowing quiz access, I will point out very quickly that these settings can all be used together. For example, I may decide to limit the number of completions to 3, while also preventing the user from retaking it if they've passed. In a scenario like this, if a user passes the quiz on the first try, they will not get their second and third attempt. The same goes for high stakes mode. If high stakes mode is set and the quiz has no completion limits and has no cap on the number of retakes, a user will still be locked out if they exit the quiz without submitting. So when you're deciding the settings for your quiz, make sure you consider the different scenarios a user might experience. Re-allowing access to a quiz is easy, but it does require an administrator or manager intervention, which is why it can significantly hinder a user's progress in a course. If a user is locked out, they will need to reach out to you or another administrator to request access. At that point, it's really up to you to decide if the user should be allowed access to this quiz again. To re-allow access, I'm going to start by going to the quizzes dashboard, select the user access tile, and click the toggle button here on the right to allowed. Another way I can grant access is by going to the user's dashboard and then clicking on the course reset tile. This will bring me to a page where I can select what I'd like to reset. I can reset an entire course or an individual quiz within a course. I'll select the course where this quiz is located and I can reset it from there. And that is your very quick crash course on quiz level lockouts and how to reset access to them for your users. Thanks for watching.